Hey there and welcome. So in this video, we're taking a 10,000 feet look at life and seeing if we're kind of happy and satisfied with where we're spending our time, attention, and energy. Are we focusing on the things that we want to focus on? Are we placing our time, attention, and our resources, our mental resources, our emotional resources, our physical resources, and are we allocating those in a way that makes sense to us, that's in alignment with how we want to live life and who we want to be? Because sometimes when things get out of balance, it's because we've tipped over from what's called harmonious passion, where what we're doing lights us up, it fills us with energy, it gives us a sense of meaning and purpose, it motivates us to take on those challenges, to really lean into the opportunities that life offers. And we tip away from that harmonious passion that research shows time and again really supports us to feel well, do well, and lead well. But when we tip away from that, we move into what researchers have found is called obsessive passion. And this is where, rather than it kind of expanding and filling us up, obsessive passion actually depletes us and can often lead to negative impacts on the way that we feel, the way that we connect with the world and other people. And ultimately, there's a risk of burnout if we stay in this obsessive passion space. Now, as I work with senior leaders and teams, the most frequent culprit for this obsessive passion is work. I particularly find with small business owners, with senior leaders, where we feel like a lot of the responsibility and accountability for what goes on in the business, the organization, or the team really rests on our shoulders. When we're in this obsessive passion space, we find it hard to switch off. We find that we're constantly thinking about what needs to be done next, or we're constantly mulling over something that hasn't quite gone as we wanted to, or a problem that we're trying to resolve. The thing is, when we're in that kind of obsessive passion mindset, we're not then focused on what the other areas of our lives. Even when we're with the people that we perhaps care about outside of work, we're not present with them. Even when we're with friends, we're kind of thinking about emails, perhaps even responding to emails. Now, work I've found is the main culprit for this obsessive passion, but it can be anything. Maybe you found that what started off as a hobby has now become something that fills your every spare moment. Or maybe there's a fitness drive that you've been on that you've realized has kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger and is taking up more of your time, effort, and energy. And so obsessive passion can really apply to anything in our lives where we feel that things are just a little bit out of balance, or maybe a lot. Now, what we're going to do to have a think about how are we living our lives and is it the way we want to, is something called the Life Pie activity. So the resources that come along with this video provide you with a sheet that looks like this. But equally, if you just want to do this on a piece of paper of your own, which is what I'm going to do now, it's really very, very simple. So you literally take a pen and draw a circle. And then within that circle, you're thinking about, I reckon the last 12 months is a great kind of time period. It's not too long that it's not relevant to right now, but it's long enough to see what patterns might be emerging. And you're thinking about, where has my focus been? Now, it's not necessarily the number of minutes and hours. It's not necessarily your physical exertion. It's like, where has my focus and attention been? And there are categories that are detailed in the resource with this video, things like family and friends, things like money and work, things like learning and growth, rest and recovery. How much of your focus in the last 12 months have been in each of these categories? Now, as we do this, it's really important, firstly, that we are honest with ourselves, right? Because there's no right or wrong in this. This is just an is. This is how we've been spending our time, effort, and energy, where our focus has been in the last 12 months. It's data. Look upon it as data for you to make an informed choice around what might come next and what you might like to adjust in that. So I recommend, before you actually kind of fill in the life pie, that you just connect with yourself a moment and spend a few moments thinking about what has happened over the last 12 months. What is it that comes to mind as you think about where your focus has been? What are the big rocks in your last 12 months? What are the little things that have been going along as those big rocks have been taking up time, effort, and energy in your world? So just a moment to connect and reflect to the time period that you're going to have a think about. And then you're taking this circled either on the resource or that you've drawn on a piece of paper. And literally, we're thinking about, if this whole circle is 100% of our life pie, how have the slices of that pie been made up in terms of what we've focused on? Where has our effort, our energy, our attention been? And we're literally detailing different slices of pie and allocating the size of the slice of our pie accordingly. Now, sometimes it can be easier, and in the resource, there's a list of the different categories for you to ponder those and kind of put the percentages down next to each category. Maybe not every category has a percentage, and that's fine. And just remember that the total percentage needs to add up to 100. Like, that's the total pie. We can't have it adding up to 118 or 170. 100 is the maximum that we've got. So we're allocating the pie. I'm going to draw some lines on this one here so you can see exactly what it would look like. And we're thinking about how big a slices of various parts of our life taken up. And then we're labeling those. So you can use the list on the resource. You can use labels that make sense to you. You don't have to use exactly the same ones. Maybe you've got some alternatives. Maybe you've got some ones that you want to add in. But we're literally labeling them. You can see I've put family and work in those first two life pie slices. And then we're giving them a rough percentage. And if you've done the list, this is an easy transfer over. So this is where I reckon my time has been spent. About 40% on family, 35% on work. Those slices of pie don't quite look the right shape, size, do they? So take some time over this. I reckon this is worth doing the reflection and really allocating those percentages and then transferring that across. Now, that's what the last 12 months have been. And as you do that and reflect on where your focus has been, I want you to connect into how you're feeling about that, because this really is our barometer. Do we feel like, yeah, that last 12 months felt really aligned? I've put my focus and my attention where I feel it's most valued, how I want to be showing up in the world. Or are there some parts of that current life pie where you go, do you know what? I don't want that to be the same as I look forward to the next 12 months. I want there to be something different. Maybe you want to focus more time on relationships. Maybe you want to put some more energy into your own kind of rest and recuperation and making sure you've got the energy to be in life as you want to be. Maybe you've been focusing a lot on money this year, and you want to kind of dial that back and have a more open and expansive attitude and relationship with money. So have a think about, as you look at the life pie that you've created, where are the bits that you feel, yeah, that's really in alignment? And where are perhaps there's some areas where you think, no, I want to make some adjustment there. Maybe there's a whole slice of pie missing for you that you recognize now, and you're like, oh, I haven't done anything around this in the last 12 months. Perhaps it's a creative pursuit. Perhaps it's a physical, you like physical activity, being part of a team or a group activity again. And you'll see that on the resource, you've got an area for you to say changes I would like to make, which is just here. Okay, and if you're doing it in your own sheet, just make a few bullet points. What are the changes you'd like to make? Because now you get to take all of that, your reflections on the last year and your thoughts about what good would look like for the next 12 months or so, and those changes that you've just identified. And we're drawing a second circle. And this now is your life by design pie. Like, if your next 12 months went as well as possible and you were able to allocate time, attention, and energy just as you wanted, what would it look like? Maybe there would be less slices to your pie, right? Maybe there wouldn't be as many things that you're spending your time, effort, and attention on. Maybe you would be focusing more on particular aspects of your current pie, but you would just be giving it a larger slice. So now's the time to think about, okay, if I could design the next 12 months, how would I design it? How would I spend and allocate my time, effort, and energy? What would I be focusing on? Because this is where we start from this kind of 10,000 foot view of our life. We start thinking about what does good look like and how might we bring it to life? So once you've done that life by design pie and you've allocated how you want to spend your time, your effort, your energy, what you want to focus on, I'd like you to identify 3 actions that you see you can take to start moving towards that life by design pie. Now, all of this is in the PDF resource that comes along with this video, and I hope you enjoy thinking about what a life by design could look like.